that my one will curse you all behind me.
Bring it forth.
Yeah, you just
All
can't stop
right.
staring
All
at it.
the critical fails.
It's looming over.
Just looming over my shoulder. All right. So all of you. Anyway. So as I said, all of you are on board this Space Station Chernobyl, primarily a research vessel. You know that there's 24 of you. You were hired on in numbered order. They gave you an identity number for whatever position you were hired on as. And as far as the security documents and the official documents go, they only refer to you all as numbers. You're nothing more than that to them. Your goal here was to fly to an outer planet that was discovered, gather up a bunch of data, the moons, what's around them, the atmosphere, all the basic crap that goes with checking out a new system, as well as get some rock and dirt and data samples from the planet itself. All of that's been done, secured, back into the research labs and everything like that. We've been out here for a couple months now. Everything's pretty much set, and you're actually getting ready to head back home to wherever this place is from. Everything's went really smooth, too smooth to really be of comfort. And with that, Rob, you are Ellis. All right. So, Ellis, as you wake up, you don't remember falling asleep, but you're lying on a stretcher. The nice soft white blankets over top of you. You remember being in the med bay after you banged up your leg and your side a little bit. You look around. The lights here are very dim, very shallow. It's a reddish glow. You would recognize these as the emergency lights within the ship itself, the space station. You can hear this soft humming sound of the generators deep in the ship that would be keeping everything running. Around you, you can hear a soft ticking sort of sound, like that of a clock every few seconds, go off. And as you kind of open your eyes and look around, try to adjust this, you see this thick gray dust covers everything around you. It's on your body, it's on your blankets. You can see your clothes and all of your gear stacked over onto a stainless steel table in the corner. That too has this dust that seems to be around it, swirls in the air. The medbay itself that you're in is a smaller one. 3 stretchers, a couple stainless steel tables, some basic equipment. Nothing major, you didn't need surgery. So you just have your basic band-aids and bandages and gauzes, stuff like that, lying around. The door leading out of here, you can see is securely closed, and you can see the bright red light that glares off of it, showing that the deadlock is set. As I said, you don't remember waking up. And when you were here before, the lights were all on, the security systems didn't have the deadbolts on the doors, and everything was normal. Who is Ellis, and what do you do?
Is well, he's a soldier, hunter as well. He's a military, will basically accept any orders that he's given, no questions asked. He's extremely loyal to people who are kind to him, or people who he likes, or people that he gets on with. And if he doesn't get on with you, then he's got a hair trigger. Has no qualms about killing someone at the drop of a hat. Many times before. I think that pretty much sums him up.
And what do you do as you wake up and look around?
So I imagine sort of like sit up and, still kind of aching, especially if I haven't moved in a while, sort of stretching out.
You notice your limbs are a little stiff, but the bruising that you had, the wounds, where you got banged up a little bit, seems to be all healed over. It should have taken some time, but you feel decent besides stiff from laying here.
I imagine he's sort of like, he notes it and he sort of realizes that, but doesn't sort of clock what that could potentially mean, or, the sort of implications that might have. And just sort of stretch out for a sec, sort of grab my gear, maybe supplies are kind of valuable, so he'll just sort of grab, the various medical supplies that are around, just stuff that probably wouldn't be missed, like as you said, like plasters and bandages or whatever, sort of tuck them away and head off. Just sort of basically trying to find anyone, another human.
Basic gear, whatever your character would have had on them is all there, but everybody will have a basic comms unit. Simple little wrist pad. Think of it like a smartphone. Has 25 channels. 1 through 24 is your own personal channel. So what number were you normally referred to, Ellis?
I am number 4.
So if anybody ever hit onto channel 4, it would only go to Ellis, and you would be able to communicate back and forth on that channel. Same thing with everybody else. You all have your own channel, whatever your number is. Channel 25 is the public broadcasting channel that goes to everybody on the ship.
Right.
You look at your comms, that immediately pops up as soon as you pick it up. You remember the date before was June 19th. It is now showing July 18th. You try to walk over. Whenever you try the door, it doesn't move 1 inch. This red light blinks a few times, showing that the deadbolts have been engaged. You're going to need some sort of high security clearance or something to get these doors open. Normally, this wouldn't happen unless there was a security breach or something major happened here. You give it a few shakes and it doesn't move.
Is there any other way out of this room, or is it just like a small sort of...
It's a small room. There are some, vent grates up above. There's a small drainage just in the room, just barely maybe big enough to fit through. You move over to check those out, though. We will move on to Luke. Your character is Drew. Let's see. You're in the security room.
Yep.
So as you come to as well, you don't remember falling asleep on your watch. Normally you're pretty vigilant about this. And all these TV screens around you that scan the ship, the corridors, different med bay, security rooms, lounges. All these screens are just pitch black except for one that shows the core room. And it shows a warning system at the bottom. And wait for it to kind of scroll across. And it shows that there's only 42 minutes of life support left on the ship. All the other ones occasionally will blink or have static crawl up the screen just to go out again. The rest of the room around you looks pretty much like you remember it. Everything seems to be okay. The man who would have been number 7 that would have been sitting beside you isn't there. You can see his clothes, the orange jumpsuit that he was wearing, the number 7 that was on the back and on his chest. But his body, there's just nothing there. It's just his junk clothes. Everything here is covered in a thick gray dust as well. And you'll notice down towards the base of his seat, there's this large puddle of dried up blood, a smear that runs to the back of the room and out the door into the main quarters beyond. And the door itself, again, you see the red light on as the deadbolt's been secured. Being the security, you would know too that you're going to need a captain's key card or something to get out that door. It's been heavily fortified. Why don't you introduce your character and what you do?
Well, I am Lieutenant Drew Dawes, or Andrew Dawes. Most people just call me Drew. But before I came to work for Chernobyl, I was a MP in the Marines. I specialized in SWAT and crowd control, like riot patrol. I pretty much sit in the security room all day and make sure you assholes don't die.
So, as I said, you don't remember falling asleep. Everything was going quite smooth the last you remember. And, as you look down at your comms unit, you notice the same thing, that it was June 19th. It is now showing July 18th. Your body's a little stiff as if you've been sitting there for a while, but you don't seem thirsty or hungry or malnourished in any way.
Okay. Does it say a year?
Yep. Of course, I don't have it on this one. It was 2197. Same year, though.
Same year. Okay. That was
Just
what
looks like it's been 29 days later, basically.
Okay. Is there any way to run a diagnostics to figure out what's wrong with the down monitors, or?
Yeah, you can give it a shot. All you're gonna have to do is give me a challenge roll. Actually, security. So let's make it an 8. I'll include your profession already. So you're going to roll a d20, 8 or higher.
It's a 12.
12. So run through some of these diagnostics. You can see this main screen seems to be the only one that has any power. It continues to scan some of these different corridors. As far as anything coming up, it looks like there was some sort of security breach on the main bridge. The captain's logs seem to cut off with an error 404 after a few seconds, and it just scrolls on endlessly for a few moments and then just stops with this error. You can see life support has been running now for 14 days, and it's pretty much out. If you know, exiting out of these rooms, heading out into the main corridor or wherever there isn't already life going, is probably going to be mostly low gravity. It's holding up where you're at the moment, but yeah, it looks like something big must have went down in order for everything to be shut down the way it is.
Okay. Is there any emergency gear in the security room?
You would have all your basics that you need, your basic equipment, hazmat suits and gloves and whatever type of stuff you might want in there. Yeah.
Okay. I'm probably going to get into a hazmat suit and then grab like a light, maybe a shock baton or something, and then try and figure out a way to get out of this room.
Throw the hazmat suit on. Immediately you can see these little numbers kind of crop up in the corner of the screen, sort of virtual reality screen. It's showing very, very high radiation levels in your room. If you scroll through some of the security stuff and look at that a little bit deeper, you'll notice that a lot of the ship is showing very high radiation levels as well. And you can hear this soft ticking sound as you kind of glance up to the large air vent above you. And it looks like this thick, greenish sort of slime hanging there. It drips down beside you just with this little patter every now and then, just a splat, off just this constant ticking sort of sound. And with that, we will move on to Connor. You are running Morris. And you are in the gym. All right. So as you were last you knew anyway, in the gym, working on the treadmill, getting nice and buff for all the ladies, I'm guessing. Got to keep fit on this space station. As you open your eyes, you can see everything around you is just pitch black. In the far end of the gym, you can see one tiny little red light blinking. You know that would be down where the door is. You two would recognize this as a security breach of some sort. The door is probably dead bolted shut. You have to get a key card or something else to get that door open. You can hear the grinding of almost like stone on stone, like scraping sort of sound outside of the doorway. Although you can't quite see down there what it is. This thick, powdery dust covers you as you sit up, covers the treadmill that you were next to, everything around you. This little beam of red light that you can see all the dust kind of flitter through that around you. You also remember that there was 2 other people in here. You can't quite remember who they were or numbers. You know you've definitely seen them around the ship. You feel like you should know who they were and what they were doing, but you can't quite recall what was happening. You remember running on the treadmill, and then here you are. Why don't you introduce Morris and tell me what you do?
Morris is an accident-prone marine biologist and botanist. He was hired on basically to research the effect of zero-G on marine wildlife. And I imagine the first thing he'd do is search his pants pockets for a key card just to make sure he had it on him.
You'll have your basic one, but it is not high security level that would get through a dead-bolted door. As you sit up, though, and you kind of reach over, checking your pants pockets and stuff, your hand touches something very cold and wet, sort of slimy feeling. If you look over, you can see something there, occasionally quivering, moving a little bit, but it's too dark to really see what it is.
I'd probably take my hand away very quickly, look at it, and just shake off whatever slime was on my hand and slowly back away from it.
Reminds you of a nice, cold, Dead Sea slug sort of feeling. If you move away, you can hear that grinding sound. And it sounds like, again, stone on stone. And this thing beside you moves, quivers a little bit. Then you hear the clank of two weights as they come down on each other. You remember beside running on this treadmill and happening to look over, seeing one of these free weight systems beside you, wondering if maybe you should start pumping some iron as well. But not quite in the mood. You continued with your running. But as this kind of comes to you, it looks like whatever's there has been crushed under a couple of weights. But again, you can't quite see. It just looks like a basketball-sized mound, cold, wet, slimy. And it lets out this high-pitched screech sound. You're going to have to give me a drop.
So I just roll 1d20.
Yep.
I got a 7 on it.
Nice. And for future reference, whenever you guys give me a drop, it doesn't matter how many dice you roll. All I need is the lowest number. Everything else doesn't matter. So yeah, as you scooch back, this thing lets out this loud screeching. Almost sounds like a young child's cry type scream, like in pain or something. And you see this bright flash in your eyes. And with that, we will move on to Dan. You are next. You have James, and James is in the mess hall. So as you wake up, James, you've been sitting back on a stool. Your head's kind of lolled back on the counter a little bit. Open your eyes. Above you, you can see this red security lights blinking all the way down through the kitchen area. You can see all of your equipment, pots, pans, ladles, some cheese that you were working with, still sitting on the counter, although it doesn't look like cheese. If it ever was cheese, it doesn't look like it anymore. Most of it's rotted away, covered in this thick mold. Around you, you remember there used to be some cooks that were helping you out. Maybe number 21 and 22, you think, perhaps. And as you look around, you can see their clothes on the floor. It's kind of splayed out, but you don't see their bodies, just their clothes. Everything around them is covered in this thick gray dust, burns your eyes, your nose, your throat. And both of where these pile of clothes are, you can see these blood smears. Looks like whatever happened, the bodies were dragged away or something, but you can see these long smears of blood leading away and out the door. As you look at the door, you again see this bright red flashing light show that it's been deadbolted and secured. You need to stop and think for a moment of what happened and where you're at. You'll notice your comms unit shows July 18th, much later than, you remember it last being July 19th, or June 19th. And you remember the captain was in the cafeteria. As you look over your shoulder into the main cafeteria area, you can see where the captain was sitting at his normal spot, his normal table. His plate, food, everything's still in front of him, but his body's not there, just his clothes. This gray dust seems to be flitting around everywhere. You can see some notebooks that he was looking through on the table there. And you see the blood smear of his body that has been dragged away out the door. Why don't you introduce James and tell me what you do?
Name, James Tullen. Referred to as 23. I'm the ship's cook. It's weird. Doesn't seem like I'm any good, but my dossier says I've been doing this for 20 years, even though I'm only 25. Other than that, it's all blacked out. Just been crossed out. Nobody can see what's going on. Everyone doesn't even realize why I'm here or what I'm doing, but it seems like a safe place for now. Perfectly good block of cheese that I would sell to any one of my customers. I start wondering what in the world is going on here. Can't see the captain. All I can see is blood and his clothes. Like something sucked him out. It's weird. Don't know what's going on. I wonder why I'm alive. I wonder who else might be alive. Search the room for any form of weapons that I might be able to find, which is on my first thing on my mind. And then I reach out on channel 25 and I see if anyone else is alive too.
So basic kitchen, so I'm sure there's some knives and cleavers and this and that, whatever you might find in there as a weapon. You know that the captain always carried a simple little 6-shooter pistol that he had, more of a family heirloom. He'd like to brag about it and talk about the days from the late 1800s. It still works, and he'd be happy to let people check it out and give them a preview of it. But as far as being a reliable weapon, that's kind of questionable. But yeah, you can definitely find some knives, cleavers, whatever might be around. And with that, as you kind of call out, Morris, Drew, Ellis, and Jordan, in just a moment, we won't get to you, but all of you can hear the words come across on channel 25 on your comms unit. But first, let's hop over to Bethany. Let's see, you got Jordan. You're in the entertainment area. So, Jordan, as you wake up, you can feel something that's wrapped around your head. That brief moment of panic sort of hits you, and you quickly rip it off. It's nothing more than a VR unit you were using. Kind of jogs your memory a little bit. You remember sitting here, taking a stroll down nice, beautiful street back in the long days, a Google Earth tour, if you will, of your virtual reality set, relaxing, taking some time off. You don't remember seeing anybody else in this room with you. As you glance around, it is pretty much desolate. You have your chairs and your lounges. You see the VR unit that you ripped off your head still blinks occasionally. Looks like it has a little bit of battery left. And you hear your comms unit kick on. You two remember that it was June 19th. And as this little comms unit blips up on your wrist, you see that it's now July 18th. Again, you don't remember falling asleep or what happened here. Nobody else is around. As you stand up, this thick layer of gray dust kind of just drips off of your body down to the ground and kind of swirls around your feet a little bit. You notice that it covers everything in here. The TVs, the desks, the VR units, video game consoles, chairs, couches, everything is covered in this thin layer of this dust. And it too burns your nose, burns your throat. You can't help but cough a little bit. As you turn to look at the doorway, you can see the red glaring light on the handle showing that it's been deadbolted. Again, like everybody else, you would know that that's a security level breach of some sort. You're probably stuck in this room unless you can somehow get a key card or get out of here in another way. And you can hear this soft sort of music, like a music box tinking in the distance. Very, very soft. You're not sure if it's even, within your head or within your comms, or if it's outside somewhere around you. Just briefly, you can hear it. Why don't you introduce Jordan, and what do you do?
My name is Jordan, and I was previously a field medic for the U.S. military for about 5 years. I've since been retired, and this is my first mission. I'm the medic for the ship. I specialize in stabilization and anesthesiology. I haven't had much trouble with anyone being hurt as yet, except for a certain accident-prone person. I'm going to see if I can find the source of that music, like put my ear up against the door, listen to my...
As you make your way across the floor, you kicked up this more and more dust. Burns your throat a little bit more. And you cough into your hand, you can see small speckles of blood on your hand and this little bit of dim lighting that's left here. And as you move a little bit closer to this door, this music plays up a little bit louder. It sounds like it's coming from potentially the main corridors outside of this room. It plays along and it slowly starts to again fade away, as if it's getting further and further away. Oops, you're muted.
There. Okay, I'll start banging on the door. Is there anybody out there? Hello? Hello? Cover my nose and mouth with the piece of cloth if I have to tear it off.
Yeah, it definitely seems to help a little bit. When you bang on the door, that music stops. It's just dead silence. You can hear a voice come across your comms unit. All of you can. Is James, you tap into the channel 25 and start to broadcast looking for something. Why don't you take it from there? What do you say? What do you do?
You're muted, Dan.
Any of you assholes still alive out there?
I am. Alice Jordan, number 4.
This is Security Officer Lieutenant Andrew Dawes.
Jordan Kavanaugh, I'm stuck in the entertainment room. Can anyone please assist?
I honestly don't know if I am alive or not.
Well, I can hear you. You must be.
Yep, you can.
Thank God there's more than one of me.
Does
So,
anybody
like,
know?
Out of character, I don't know if I'm alive or not.
Yeah, you are. Yep.
Okay. I am stuck inside the gym with something that is flashing a bright light in my eyes. Please, someone come and break down the door.
I'm currently locked inside the security room.
In the mess hall.
I'm in the med
try-
bay, but
Get out of here.
there's vents. I might be able to get out.
You notice as you talk, it seems to be just the 5 of you. Nobody else chimes in, even though there should be, 24 people on the ship total, minus a couple of you see the clothings of and the captain. But nobody else seems to chime in. It looks like it's just the 5 of you. And as your comms unit goes off, Morris, you see this light kind of dim away from your eyes a little bit. This screeching slowly dies out in a sickening sort of squishy sound. You can feel this warm, sticky liquid kind of roll across the floor, touching the tips of your fingers a little bit, washing around them.
The creature that was here seems to have died.
Creature?
What do you mean, creature?
I can't make it out too well, but I think it was some liquid is coming from its body, and it screeched and it was crushed by weights.
Your comms unit
Morris?
works much like a smartphone or whatever. It would have a flashlight on there. Seems to be about 25% power.
Morris, this is Jordan Kavanaugh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm going to advise that you do not touch the substance. If you have it on your body at all, please go wash your hands or get it off at any cost. Just wipe it off. We don't know if it's some biological contaminant or infectious, perhaps.
I will do my best, Morris says as he kind of shakes the blood off of his hand. Well, fluid. I don't know if it's blood.
It's very, very sticky. But it feels kind of like blood. You can smell the coppery smell of it. Kind of hold it up. Even though all around you is pretty much just red lighting, it does look like blood.
I gotta try to get out of here. I'll make it to the entertainment room and see if I can let out Jordan. See if I can make it there. I'll start working on the doors.
I'll go for the vents in the med bay.
So, let's see.
Do we have anyone from engineering still aware?
I don't
think so.
Any of you are from engineering? Ellis, you would know that, well, this space station that you're on has 5 decks. It's sort of shaped like a inverted pyramid, not quite so wide, more stalactite, I suppose, shaped, but kind of upside down triangle sort of shape to it. The top deck would include the very, very top, would include the bridge, captain's chambers, and main control room. Second deck would include the research labs, the med bay, where you are, supply rooms. The third deck would have the security, where Drew is at. It would have the cafeteria, where James is at. And it would have the various meeting rooms and stuff. Deck 4 is the bed chambers, the lounge, where Jordan is at, and the gym, where Morris is at. And deck 5 is just the cargo hold, engine rooms, core reactors.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
so
that the vents would be a viable way out.
Yeah, you could definitely
There'd be
fit-
any sort of.
I don't know if I
Alright.
would advise going through the vents. There's a viscous fluid leaking out of the vent in the security room. The ductwork may be compromised.
Well, unless anyone has a better way of getting out, I don't really see any other option.
I just be advised. I mean, it's may not be entirely safe, especially if there's
Well, I'm not
some sort of
fucking around here.
creature running around.
Very well, I'm advised, and then I'll get in the vent anyway.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
started searching for something to go down, a panel on the floor, full access, something to be able to allow them to, go down into the floor below.
Yeah, being the cafeteria, definitely have a ton of drainage pipes to go down through the floor, your main washrooms. You'd have air vents up on the ceilings, depending which way you want them to go. But yeah, there's more than enough in the cafeteria and kitchen area.
I'm gonna go for Morris and Jordan. I'll try to find the biggest drain that I can find to get down. All the ductwork.
So as Ellis, as you creak this grate open a little bit, it starts very, very softly at first. This very soft music that you hear playing. It seems to echo through this little vent shaft that you're in, slowly getting a little bit louder until it just enough to hear it clearly. You don't hear any other movement or anything within the vent. And then
Can I
slowly
ascertain what
begins to-
direction it's coming from? I'm assuming below me.
It's in the main vent above you, like the main air vent in the ceiling. With all the ductwork, it's really hard to say which way it's coming from because it just kind of echoes through all this aluminum sheeting, but it's there.
Cool.
And eventually just
would I have
silence.
Would I have any way of knowing sort of whereabouts I am in the ship? Is there any way for me to figure out basically where is a good spot to sort of drop down, if possible?
Yeah, I mean, you would know the ship quite well. You've been out here for quite a while. Med Bay's sort of the central hub of this second deck. So, yeah, if you were to guess, you'd probably, if you drop straight down, you'd be going into the main cafeteria area.
Would I know, like, what I'm basically trying to aim for is like a hallway so that I can get up to the captain's quarters and maybe, find the key card or whatever that I need?
Right. That would be up above you. Yeah, it'd be more over into the.
But
kind of the northwest corner.
like, is there some sort of way where I could drop into a hall and then go up the stairs? Or is it lifts or what?
Yeah, there's stairs and lifts. Basically, just trying to get out of this room into the main hallway and then go from there.
Right. Yeah, so that I can walk there.
Yeah, definitely. You just mainly your little grate above you could be able to hop out into the main corridor area. Be a tight fit, a little sticky, but yeah.
Cool. All right, I'll do that then.
All right. Pull yourself up in there. Very dark, pitch black. You feel this hot air seems to be rustling through these vents. All this dust kind of swirls into your face. Choke and cough a little bit on this. I'm going to need a drop from you.
15.
Nice. And as soon as you pull yourself up into it, begin crawling across this little vent area, tight fit, but again, you start hearing that music softly in the distance, echoes down through this corridor a little bit.
All right. I imagine I'm carrying a sidearm, being the sort of one of the key sort of security members on the ship. So I'd probably have that out, hearing reports of weird shit going on and music.
Pull yourself forward over top of the main corridor outside your room. You can see the grate below you that drops down into the hallway. The air vent itself tees off to the right and to the left. Music sounds like it's coming from the left. And as you glance down there, you see what looks to be another person, maybe 15, 20 yards down, very dimly. You can just see the shape of it. Looks humanoid, just like yourself. And then it's gone. Silence.
I'll drop down if I can. Like, can I get through the vent?
Yep. Pull that grate off and drop down into the main corridor. Yep.
Quietly, if possible. And then, yeah, just jump down. And whispering into my radio on the sort of shipwide channel. I've made it out of my room. I've made it out of the med bay. And I'm in the corridor. I'm going to head for the captain's quarters and see if I can find some way to release the...
Over in your room, Jordan, as you have your ear up to this door, listening, again, it just instantly starts, almost like it's right outside your door, this music playing. And you can hear the scrape of something hard across the outside of the door, like almost like claws along the door frame. And then a slam as it hits against the door.
I'm going to back up very quickly away from the door. Is there anywhere to hide in that room?
Yeah, there's couches and lounges and tables and chairs, and you can definitely closets, game chambers, things like that.
Okay. Closet and quickly shut the door.
Right, so yeah, slide into that closet, shut the door.
Keep it cracked so I can see.
Sitting there, and you can hear that heavy slam once and again on this door. You hear sounds like metal tearing apart, echoing through this room. All of you on the comms can hear this across yours as well. Seems to be echoing from Jordan's comm unit itself. The slamming, the screeching sort of sound. And this soft music that's playing sounds exactly like the one that you heard, Ellis. It's coming across.
I'm going to turn down my comms unit because I'm hearing the slams and I saw something near me, so I don't want it hearing my, phones on. Basically, I'm going to turn it that so I can still hear it, but so it's a bit quieter and keep going.
Get you. As you're hiding in this closet, Jordan. Quiet, breathing softly, trying to hold it in. I'm going to say a challenge roll of 12 for you to be able to stay quiet, unless you can somehow convince me that one of your professions help you in this case.
All right. Being able to tolerate stressful situations because of my military training?
That'll work. All right. Do a challenge roll 8 then.
I got a 5.
Okay. So as you back up, you can see the shadow of this humanoid figure kind of scroll across the back wall in this dim red lighting. You can hear the scrape of what sounds like toenails or something across the stone floor, this marbled floor. And as you back up, you can see it stops right in front of this closet where you're at, this heavy breathing. You can hear this musical sound box right outside your door. Take a step back and you feel something cold and wet drop down on your shoulder. It kind of dribbles across your shoulder, down your chest a little bit, almost like it's slowly oozing its way down you. And with that, you see this long finger, much longer than a human's, a couple extra joints, peek through the crack of this door, and the creak as the door begins to open up. And this strange humanoid-looking thing starts to come into view. Over in the gym, Morris, you see this shadow cross underneath the doorway from where you're at. Sounds like somebody walking down the hall. You can hear the soft footsteps.
Morris would probably go up to the door as quickly as he could and start knocking on it and saying, "Hello? Is someone there? Could you let me out, please?"
And as you do that, you hear a music box begin to play outside the door. The shadow that you can see underneath the door just briefly stops moving where it's at. The footsteps kind of retreat back a little bit. And up at the top of the door has just a small little glass window. You can see it's been reinforced by thin spider wire braids in the glass itself. But on the other side, you see this large, bulbous, disgusting-looking bloodshot eye looking through the doorway in at you. And then a heavy slam against the door. Once, twice. Doesn't seem to be given away, but it's just slamming itself into this door over and over and over.
At the first slam, Morris, startled, kind of stumbles backwards and he falls, and he's just scrambling back farther and farther away from the door, and he's just trying to get as much distance between him and whatever's banging on the door as possible.
And quickly cross back all the way to the back of this room. You can press yourself up against these back walls. There is like a bathrooms in here, showers and stuff like that. If you wanted to try and like get all the way back in there.
Yeah, I'd like to go back there and pull the curtain back and maybe hang on a shower head if it would support my weight, and just pull my feet up so that it can't see my feet.
Yeah, you can hear the slamming over and over. It goes on for 20, 30 seconds. And then the screeching as the metal tears free. You can hear the door slam to the ground. And then that sound of the music getting a little bit louder and louder as whatever comes through. You can hear this heavy sniffling, snorting sound, almost like dogs when they track animals as they sniff along the ground. The shadow passes in front of this shower curtain where you're at, stops, sniffing in the air a little bit. Give me a drop.
$18.
So you lift yourself up on the shower curtain. You can see this strange, it looks like a foot, but it looks as if it's been fused with several other feet. Just maybe 11, 12 toes, this large bulbous heel peek out from underneath the edge of this curtain. And with that, you hear this scream echo down the hall outside, and this foot quickly retreats back. It looked like it was getting ready to come into this area where you're at, and then begins to shuffle away, getting quieter and quieter until it's just silence around you a few moments more. Drew, what do you got? Drew, James, what are you guys up to?
Well, I'm probably going to try and find a whisper set for my comm.
Mm-hmm.
Then whatever other weapons, because there is obviously a threat on board.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what other weapons I can get, and then see if I can get into any of the systems from where I'm at and try and get at least partial control back.
Yeah. Yeah, the room would have your basic rifles and batons and things like that. So you can pretty much whatever you would want in there for a basic security. There's not a high-level military place, but your basic stuff is there. You can definitely set everything to a whisper on your comms. You can hear the others. Occasionally you could hear this music box sound come across on Jordan's comms and Morris's comms. You could hear the pounding. Go ahead and give me a drop.
13.
Okay. So as you work on these systems a little bit, you can bring up a few more. You can see that the life, there we go, the life units on the system is down to, other life supports down to about 30 minutes. Things are starting to get a little bit tight. As you go over, you can see that it looks like mainly Deck 2, Deck 3, and Deck 4 have high security warnings going off. Not sure, it doesn't give you any details on what it is, but as you look up on that one screen that occasionally clicks through, you can see this room looks like the lounge area. You see Jordan as she steps back and pulls herself into this closet. And the door, you can see you getting slammed once, twice, and again, finally it gives away, and this humanoid form just steps in. And then the camera switches, and it just shows the empty cargo area. Nothing going on there. And it switches and shows a hallway, and you see a form in the distance moving through this thick dust cloud. And then it kind of walks past where the camera is. Can't quite make out what it is, but again, as it starts to come into focus, the camera again switches to another scene of an empty room, a bed chamber. Doesn't seem like you try to get control of this and try to, get the camera to stop, but it just constantly is flipping through all the different securities.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And I'm not going to be able to, open my door from my computer or anything, am I?
You could certainly try to hack into the system. Being security normally would be difficulty 16. I guess giving you to guess off and get difficulty 12 if you want to try and hack into that to open the door. It wouldn't give you access to all the doors, but you might be able to get yours open.
Yeah, I'm just looking for me out of this room without going through a vent. 13 again.
Yeah, so yeah. Punch into these. It looks like in order to do this, you're going to have to pull what's left of the energy off these security cameras and kind of put it into the main central unit right here in this room, the controls. It's going to shut down the security cameras, but you can do it if you want.
Well, I'm leaving this room,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to go ahead and do it.
All right. So you click all those off, divert all the energy that's left in this unit into opening up this doorway. Gives you just enough time. You're able to hack through. You see the little red light turn into a green, and the door slides itself open, jamming into place. This thick cloud of dust rolls into the room, and you can see this blood smear across the floor out into the hallway. And when it goes out to the hallway, it tees to the left and to the right. And it looks like one smear goes off to the left, and the other smear goes off to the right, where it looks like their bodies were just dragged out of this room and down the hallway.
Okay, before I head out of the room, I'm going to grab, maybe an assault rifle and a couple of mags.
Okay.
And then, a sidearm to put on my belt, and then...
Gotcha. And yeah, as
see
soon
if I
as you
can
see
try
this...
and get to where Jordan's at.
All right. As soon as you see this dust roll into the room, you can see the radiation levels on your hazmat suit goes up 30%, 40%, 50%. And it just keeps increasing slowly, all the way up to about 72%. So the radiation, whatever this dust is, seems to be really full of radiation. James, I know you were trying to go down.
Yeah, I'd like to, spending my time so used to it, just in case, worst case scenarios ever do happen. So I would like to come out in the room that I know Jordan is in.
Okay.
And obviously I'll just drop unknowingly, but if I can drop down behind or somewhere, behind this creature, then something.
Yeah. You rip off a few grates. Looks like for the most part, these vents and stuff are pretty clear. It's a straight shot down. Directly below you would be the main lounge and gym area. It's not too hard to get to where you want to go. You move through these vents pretty much with no problem. You don't hear anything, don't see anything. Occasionally, you'll see some thick yellow viscous sort of slime smeared across the walls, or inside this sheet metal plating. But otherwise, you don't really come to much. And as you come across, this grate in front of you opens up, and you can hear this soft music box playing. As you come up to this grate and you look down, just in time to see Jordan as she backs up into this closet. And as you're loosening these bolts and getting ready to pull this grate off, this thing comes below you. Ceilings here are about 15 feet, so it's a fairly decent drop down. Whatever this thing is stands roughly 9.5 feet tall. Looks humanoid, but it has these large bulbous tumors and patches of hair all across its body. An extra limb seems to be growing out of its side. A leg that kind of drags behind it seems to be almost useless. These long, strange, alien-like fingers. As it moves forward, you can hear the soft gasp from Jordan in the closet, and this thing stops, reaching over to begin opening up this door. What do you do?
Yeah, 23 will definitely drop down out of the grate. Before even hitting the ground, reaching around behind his back, pulling the revolver, the 6-shooter out, and unloading 4 bullets into the head of this thing before he even touches the ground. As soon as he hits the ground, he unloads 2 more with trained proficiency and basically throws the gun away, pulls one of the large kitchen knives from his back, and continues to proceed on this creature. Hopefully 6 shots did something to it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you definitely unload all your bullets into this thing. It lets out this screech. You see this door in front of you, Jordan, blast open, and this form drop from the ceiling, almost like it's right beside, almost like I was trying to tackle this creature or something. And these bright flashes going off, and these gunshots echoing around this room into this thing.
No matter what, I will continue to try to cut its head off with the kitchen knife.
All right. In that case, James, why don't you give me a drop first?
Okay. Turn all my lights off. I gotta get me. There we go. 19.
Beautiful. Yeah, you unload your 4 shots with ease right into the back of this thing, right up its spine, one blowing off into the back of its head. 2 more litter into its body. And it kind of falls down to one knee. Its hand reaches out towards you, Jordan, these long, thick claws, this disgusting yellow slime dripping off of them. And I'm going to need a drop from Jordan.
20.
Beautiful. So as you step back, just out of the reach of this thing, again, you feel another thick, gooey, sort of something slimy flop down on your shoulder again. It kind of dribbles down your back, this cold liquid, but very slimy feeling. This creature in front of you lets out a screech, falls forward, and displays across the floor. In front of you, you see another form, kind of dark in the shadows. You can't quite make out. You're assuming it's another person who's trying to help you, but...
Is it dead?
Not yet. Take its head off.
Okay.
Yeah, he's continuing to saw its head off with a kitchen knife.
Okay, I'm gonna look up to see the source of that slime.
It looks to be you can see it in the dim red light, but it looks almost like a very, very large slug.
Okay.
It just has these large teardrop slime things dripping off the end of it. Splatters down, one hit you on your shoulder, one on your back. Another one's just dangling there, getting ready to drip.
Ew. All right, I'm going to take off my hoodie and wrap it up, the slug, in my hoodie, and carry it with me out of there.
All right. It doesn't seem to it seems like it's alive. It doesn't look dead, but it doesn't move or do anything, like it's in a stasis or something sort of stage.
Yeah.
And as you step out, you probably recognize James from the cafeteria and stuff. I don't know if you know him or not, but...
Well, he feeds me.
Yes.
Oh, thank God, it's you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I thought I was going to die in there.
What in the world is happening?
I've got no idea. I woke up in here. I was playing video games, and then I woke up in here, and it's like almost a month later.
If it's been a
Unless the
month, how
comms
much does this
are off.
ship have left? You think the life support systems are going to be able to handle this?
I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it, especially now that we're awake and using up excess oxygen.
There needs to be more people aboard this ship that are alive. What's going on?
I
We have
heard
to
at
stay
least
in the
3 other
room.
voices on the comm.
Reason.
I've got this. I'm gonna show him the slug. Really like to get this up to a lab.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know, but I kind of want to cut it open and find out.
Well, we should kill it no matter what. Let's get you to where you gotta go. Where's Morris?
I'm not sure. Morris? I'll hit the comm.
Morse will wait a second, making sure that the creature that tried to get him before is completely gone. Or
As you can see it, it starts to recede and stuff, and you take that breath that it seems to be going away, and then you hear the crackle and the blare of your comms as Jordan asks for you across your comms unit. You can hear this thing stop, and the music begins to play. And again, you hear this thing shuffling forward, quicker, and then you see this disgusting hand grab a hold of the sheet and rip it down. As you look at this tall, maybe 9.5 feet tall thing, you can see extra arms, extra legs, toes, a large bulbous eye covering the whole left side of its face, peering back at you. I'm actually going to need 2 drops from you because it is now Act 2. So everybody up your Act 2.
Shit's kicking off.
And Morris, give me a drop with your dice pool.
that drop is an 8.
Okay. It's 2 dice, right?
Yeah, the other one was a 15.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Gotcha. So yeah, you see this thing lets out this strange gurgling sort of sound, reaches out, and you can just feel it grab a hold of your shoulder. Its claws digging into your shoulder just a little bit. They don't pierce the flesh, just enough to startle you. And it turns, starts to drag you away forcefully. If you try to fight back, whatever, it gives you a little bit of a shake, but it seems to be more toying with you. It doesn't aggressively attack you yet, but just wants to take you. What do you do?
After struggling for probably about 30 seconds, I give up getting out of this thing's grip and talking to my comms panicked. The creature's dragging me away from the gym. Please, somebody come and help. I don't know what it's going to do to me.
And all of you can hear this music playing off of his comms as he comes across. And with that, we will jump over to Ellis. As you're making your way down this corridor, you're headed upstairs to the captain's chambers.
Correct.
As you're moving down this hall, you see more jumpsuits, no bodies, but just thick clouds of dust. Blood splatters the walls, the hallway itself, these large smears running across. More and more of this dust seems to be stirred up with every step. Burns your throat and your nose. I need 2 drops from you, Ellis.
7. 5. Not good.
More of this swirls up around you. Begin to cough almost uncontrollably, the stuff burning at your throat. And then you can hear soft music in the distance. It seems to be coming from behind you. If you peer over your shoulder, you can see a form far down the hall, maybe 100 yards or so, just a straight hallway. moving in between the shadows, in between these red security warning lights that blink every now and then in the hallway. Moving at a rather quick pace, shadow to shadow, coming up behind you. Music seems to be getting a little bit louder and louder.
I'm gonna fucking book it. Just break into a shameless run.
It's pretty much a straight shot down this hallway. At the far end is the basic lift that would take you up to the captain's chambers, or the doors that would take the stairwell. Do you have a preference?
Stairwell.
All right. You can
Fuck, that's the wrong choice. Look at his face.
You run, picking up speed, more of this dust clouding up around you. Then you step on something squishy, a sickening slurp sort of sound. You feel your foot go out from underneath you. Give me another drop, Ellis. What?
13.
It feels something thick, slimy. Your foot goes out, and then you feel yourself hitting the ground hard, and this sort of sound underneath you as something smushes. As you pull up, this looks to be this large slug-like creature splattered on the floor across your back, this disgusting sticky liquid covering your hands and your vests. You can hear the thumping of this thing behind you as you scramble to get back to your feet. And then this sharp claw and these hands grab a hold of the back of your suit that you're wearing, this orange-colored jumpsuit. You can feel your body get lifted up. It's kind of slowly turned around to stare at this thing. It looks like it was human. You can see some recognizable features of different people you've seen aboard the ship, with the greenish-colored eyes of number 22. You remember her eyes always stuck out to you, but now they're large, almost popping out of her skull. You can see this blue-colored hair comes down around it. She used to be quite beautiful, but now she's quite horrid, to say the least. You can see several arms hanging off of it, 3 on one side, 1 on the other. An extra leg seems to be sticking off of its backside. And it has this 3 mouths that kind of just curl up into a smile towards you. This other hand comes up, just presses up against your face. And with that, we will swing over to Drew.
Oh, you bastard.
As you step out into this hallway, looking left and right, more dust gathers up around you. Radiation levels continue to increase on your hazmat. But it's just dead silence all around you. And then you can hear what sounds to be the slamming of doors and the creaking of the steel. It sounds like something's trying to bust through somewhere in the distance. And it just echoes through these hallways.
All right. I guess I'll rifle up and head that direction.
Move down through this hallway. You pass several dozen meeting rooms and lounges. Nothing too fancy. Everything seems to be empty. Past a couple jumpsuits. Numbers that are on them are just covered in blood, gore, and can't quite read what they were. But as you come up to the cafeteria, that's over, you can see what looks to be this humanoid figure in the distance. Look around, gather up a few things, takes what looks to be somebody's jumpsuit, perhaps. It looks like it's the captain of the ship. You can see the badges kind of gleaming in the red lights. And it reaches down, grabbing this gun from his waist that you know that he wears, and then scurries away, dropping down through a grate in the floor. Couldn't make out who it was or what it was. And in the distance, you can hear a few more bangs, then silence. And then the sounds of a struggle echoing up through the vent work around you. Sounds like it's coming from down below you.
All right. I don't really fancy climbing into a confined space, so I'm going to head for the stairs.
As you move down through this hallway, you see more and more lights begin to click off. When you check your comms, looks like you have about 25 minutes of life support. The ship begins to slowly shut different areas down to try and extend that as much as it can. one light goes off, and then another, all the way down this hallway, just leaving you in pitch black. The suit does have, some flashlights and stuff on it if you want to use them.
Is there no light on the assault rifle, or?
Probably, yeah, a small one.
Okay. We'll go ahead and we'll click that on, and I'll also try and use. Actually, I'm going to conserve the battery on my power on my suit. I'll just use the light on the rifle for now.
As soon as that clicks on, you glare down the hallway. At the very far end, where it has the lift that would go up, down, whichever way you want to go, in the stairwells, you see 4 small figures hunched down all around each other. They kind of shake violently, almost like they're having spasms or something. One of them swings its head around and looks at you. You see these large, white, pearly-colored eyes. And then another one looks in your direction. The third, fourth. And then an all-out run, very animalistic, down on all fours. These 4 little things run down the hallway. One scurries up the side of the wall. One seems to be swinging across the vent work and the wires hanging from the ceiling, almost monkey-like. 2 other ones run across the floor, coming full bore right at you.
Okay. Small controlled bursts, but I'm definitely going to try and shoot them.
All right. It'd be a drop for each one. How many you want to shoot?
I'm going to shoot until there's not any more.
All right, give me 4 drops then. There should be a drop pool of 2.
Yeah. So I can find dice. And just the lowest number?
Yep.
Okay, so that's a 14 for the first one.
Cool.
I'm getting crazy lucky with his rolls, and now I'm going to roll a 1. It's a 15 for the second one. Oh, damn it. There's a 1.
All right.
I knew there was going to be 1.
You can do your last roll too, then we'll figure that out.
Just the last roll of 2?
Yep.
Okay. That one is an 11.
All right, nice. So mark on your sheet there 1 misfortune, so it'll take your drop pool up to 3 dice now.
Okay.
And yeah, you do these small bursts. The one running across the wall just splatters and gore, leaving this greenish yellow smear across the wall. You see the one that's swinging through the vent work, and the wires you hit next. Its head, just a spray of reddish, yellowish sort of mist that kind of rains down around the other ones. The third one, just a square shot to the chest. You see it get thrown back several feet, lying still. As you swing around to get the last one that's running across the floor, you level your rifle, and this thing seems to juke at the last second, flying up against the wall, running along the wall, and then drops down to the floor right at the base of your feet. As your gun goes off, you can hear it ricochet across the floor, let off another small burst, and you see this thing just lie still there, the blood kind of rolling out underneath it. You feel that sharp pain in your foot where one of these bullets ricocheted, tearing into the sole of your foot. Your own blood kind of seeping through, wetting your boot a little bit. Nothing major, but it stings a little.
And now my suit's compromised. Fantastic. I have a bullet wound and a compromised suit. Great.
Yes, you can see the small little warning sign come across the bottom of your VR screen in your hazmat suit. You can hear the small hiss of oxygen in the warning sign that your suit has been compromised.
All right. I guess next on the agenda is find duct tape.
Yeah, they might have that, up in the engine rooms downstairs. Probably a good room. But otherwise, the corridor is clear. Stairway at the lift that would go down. You can hear the sounds of gunshots go off a few times and then silence below you.
All right. Yeah, being security, I would head towards gunshots.
All right. You're taking the lift or the stairs?
Stairs.
All So you throw open that door. This whole stairwell is covered in this. It almost looks like spider webbing, but it glimmers sort of a yellow slime. And it covers the walls, hangs down in strands all around. It doesn't. It just sticks to your body if you pass through it or whatever, and it seems to smell.
Yeah, nope. Nope. He's gonna open that door, see something that vaguely looks like spider webs, and go, "I'll take the lift."
So as you hit that button on the lift, the doors open wide up. It's all set. Looks nice and clean in there. No dust, no bodies, no spider web stuff.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't. He would not take the stairs. There's no way. He's gonna take the lift, even though it's a terrible idea.
All right. So you just step in there and hit the button to go down. The doors kind of slam shut. And you're left in silence. You can feel the small vibration as the lift kicks in and brings you down. The doors open up to the floor below you. Just in time, you can see in the far distance the lounge area, the large glass panel on the wall. As it looks in, two people seem to be in there over top of what looks to be a dead body. Over to the side, on your left, you know the gym is over there. And as the doors open up and you take a step forward, you see this large hulking creature step out, carrying Morris behind it. And it looks in your direction. This one huge, bulbous, bloodshot eye staring at you.
Okay,
Morris dangling in its grip.
Is it dragging him, or is it just like thrown over? It's kind of.
It basically just has him lifted up and carrying him along.
Okay. Do I have a pretty clear shot, or?
I mean, it's a pretty big target, but
I mean, I think the goal here is just to get it to let him go. So I take a pot shot at it and see if I can get it to let him go.
okay. Yeah, give me a drop.
All right, that is a. Can't see what that one is. Lowest is a 17.
Nice. So yeah, definitely one of these bullets hits this thing. It lets out this sound, this growling sort of annoyed sound. Morris, it just lets you go, dropping you to a heap on the ground. And you can see almost impossibly fast this thing scurries down the hall, around a corner, leaving you all in silence.
Oh, James,
All right,
you beautiful bastard. I love you.
close in on Morris. Like get him up and get him moving down the hall towards the lounge.
As all of you kind of group together a little bit, you see Jordan, Morris, Drew, and James. With that, we'll swing over to Ellis real quick. As you make your way down this corridor, get to these stairwell. Right behind you, this thing. Oh, I'm sorry, this thing actually already had a hold of you. So yeah, it kind of turns around and is staring at you.
All right. I just want to unload my sidearm into its face.
Yeah, this thing doesn't seem. You can recognize intelligence in its eyes, and it seems to be smart, but it doesn't seem to recognize what your gun is or what it does. So you can just completely unload on this thing if you want.
Yeah. Just like keep going, and then if I run out or whatever, I'm still probably pulling the trigger. Just.
So, yeah, this thing just stumbles back and back. Eventually, you can feel your feet touch the floor. It seems like its grip keeps tight hold to you. Claws wrapped around part of your face, one's on your shoulder, and it just falls back. You can hear the soft clicking of your pistol or gun as you run out of bullets. This thing stands there for a few seconds, and then just falls to a heap on the ground.
I fucking turn and carry on running.
All right. Get down to the end of this hall. You got the lift and the stairwell.
Stairs.
So you swing open these stairwells. You can see this disgusting spiderwebby slime stuff covering the walls, hanging from the ceilings, all around you.
Yeah, just sprinting to the captain's quarters.
All right. move through. So it seems to stick to you like a slug slime, for lack of a better term. You can feel it drizzle across your arms, covers across your face, gets into your hair. You move a little bit further, and more you go through, it seems to start hardening up, almost crystallizing on your skin. It seems a little bit harder to move. You feel this sharp pain as some of it dries up, breaks apart almost like glass, digging into your skin and back into your neck, your ears, your face.
I'll try and rip it off just with my hands.
All right, give me a drop.
Ugh, this is disgusting. 15.
What is it?
15. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, you'll be able to pull it off as you go, but it just, as you're moving through and moving up the stairwell, more and more of it just gets on. You can feel the shards cutting into your skin like glass, all these little pieces. But you're able to get up to the next stairwell. The doorway's there in front of you. As you reach forward, and you can see that bright red light for the security key of this deadbolted door.
Shit.
You glance around. It doesn't look like there's any vents to go into this. You're basically in the stairwell, so.
Fuck. I'll say into my thing. Does anyone know the passcode for the captain's quarters by any chance?
Negative.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna know that.
Fair enough. I'll just say, where are you guys? I can't get in to open the doors, so I may as well come find you.
We're in the lounge. All of us.
All right. I'll start heading back that way.
As you turn to start to step back, you hear this heavy bump and this constant against the door. As you turn, you can see that small little glass window, and you see a person on the other side. And you recognize it as one of the researchers, one of the scientists. You can't remember. Dr. Lauren? Dr. Lors? Remember, it's something with an L. You recognize him. And you can see he's like panicking on the other side. His arms are going and he's pointing behind you.
Turn around.
As you turn, coming from the ceiling across these thick strands of mucus and slime, is this creature. It looks human, or once was human. Instead of having the lower half of its body, though, you just see it has 8 long arms grafted to its skin on either side, and this bulbous, sort of sagging stomach as it hangs as its abdomen, and it pulls itself across these strands. Its face looks like your typical head, but there's a face on each 3 sides, one on the left, right, and then one in the front. Again, all people that feel like you should remember their names. You can't recall who they were, but there are people on the ship, you're pretty sure. It looks like they've all just been fused into this humanoid, spider-like thing. And you see that it coughs a little bit, its abdomen shakes, and then it starts to vomit up this long, green-colored slug out of its mouth. Kind of grabs it with one of its hands, plasters it to the wall, and crawls across some more of these strands towards you.
I'm going to slowly bend down and grab the handle of my boot knife and like kind of withdraw, just like moving, like you're in the presence of a predator sort of thing, and wait for it to get close enough, and I'm going to slash at it.
Yeah, it pulls itself across this too with caution. All these eyes looking at you as it turns its head from one side to the other, forward, almost studying you, and it stops about 10 feet away, sort of glaring at you in this moment of standoff. And then it hurls itself forward on these things on quickly speed. Go ahead and give me a drop.
Fuck. 3.
Yeah, you feel one hand grab a hold of you, another one, second, third, fourth, as it grabs a hold of you, almost wrapping around you. And then this thick, fluid just begins vomiting out of its mouth, scrolling down your chest, through your hair, it's on the side of your mouth, and it begins to harden almost instantly as it's starting to wrap you in this, looks like some sort of cocooning vomit. You guys can all hear.
Keep moving.
So you guys can all hear him
struggle
with this thing going on the other side on his comms unit. As you struggle back, you feel your feet kind of go out from underneath you, Ellis, and then your stomach drops as this thing lifts you up into this thick webbing around you. With that, we'll swing over to the rest of you as all four of you are together at the moment. You can hear this going on his comms unit. What do you all do?
Oh my God, what's happening to him? This is disgusting.
That sounds like a whole bunch of nope is what it sounds like.
I'm going to pull my comm up to my mouth and I'm going to scream, Ellis? Ellis, are you okay?
You said he was near the captain's quarters, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we should start heading that way. We need to find a lab. And if he's still alive, we should be helping him. I can't listen to him die.
All right, I will pull the pistol from my belt and just kind of hold it out to whoever.
I'll take it up if I could, unless anybody else grabs at it. I have no more ammo for the 6-shooter.
I also have a stun baton.
I don't know how to use any of these things. I'm sorry.
Stun baton is pretty straightforward, Morris. You just push the button and hold it against something. That might work very well for you.
And
I'll have that then.
If the stunny part doesn't work, you just smack them. All right. I'll take point. I'll check pull my mag out and check how many rounds I have in it.
You were able to gather quite a chunk of ammo back in the security well, so I mean you probably have a good couple dozen rounds without a problem.
Well, I'm just checking the first mag I had. See if I need to swap.
Oh yeah, probably would be your best bet.
Yeah. All right. So
Are there more hazmat in the lounge?
What's that?
Are there more hazmat suits in the lounge?
Not in the lounge, no.
There's more up in security. Which, if we're going up anyway, then we'll pass right by there.
We also need to make a stop at the med bay. We're going to need some kind of filtration masks. This is cutting up our lungs. I've already been coughing up blood.
You notice this hoodie that you have shifts a little bit, Jordan. And this slug type thing seems to squirm a little bit. If you look at it, you can see that it's completely covered now in this slime, but it's hardening up almost like a cocoon.
Anyone have a knife?
Yeah.
So James, you had knives. You brought some cleavers and shit.
Well, I'll hand her a knife handle first.
I'm going to cut it open before it crystallizes.
Right. Go ahead and give me a drop.
$11?
Slice this thing open, and you just see this green blood-like liquid pour out from it. And as it kind of clears away a little bit, inside this cocoon, you can see the slug as it started to change shape. You can see it looks almost like a small human, like an infant sort of, but greatly grotesque. Extra limbs, faces. This one has a large face on its stomach area, an extra arm or an extra leg that's in place of an arm. Very disturbing.
That's fucking grotesque.
Is it moving?
A little bit. It's not like threatening or anything, but just like an infant would be.
I'm going to take it out of its shell and kind of dry it off and see if it dies outside of it.
Yeah, you take it out, clean it off. It struggles for a few moments and then sort of takes on this bluish green color and just goes limp.
All right.
What the
I'm
fuck?
going to stab it into the chest. Dead. And then put it down.
And
Did it look human? Did it look humanoid?
Yeah, just greatly deformed. I need a drop from all four of you, though. Jordan, Morris, Drew, and James.
Or
11.
Eight.
So you guys can see this dust that's in here. It swirls up a little bit again. It burns at your lungs. You can see the radiation levels increase greatly in your hazmat suit. Did you wear that? Morris, as you breathe in a large thing of this, it immediately begins to burn your lungs. You can feel blood dribble down your nose, kind of clogging up in the back of your throat a little bit as you cough it out, this thick, reddish, blood-covered phlegm. This look over as you kind of itch at your arm a little bit. Your whole body begins to itch a little. As you scrape at your arm to itch at it, you look down and it's just large pieces of your skin seem to be peeling away as this rash starts to build up on your arm. Those of you around him can see it as well on his face, these large blotches, bits and pieces of skin hanging off on his back where it was ripped open a little bit. His legs, I'm assuming he was wearing gym shorts. So all these large rashes with just looks like necrotic skin starting to open up.
Jordan?
Does it look radiation based or does it look like biological?
You totally recognize it as radiation poisoning.
Okay, do we have some sort of like decontamination unit?
Up in the med
Like
base.
chelation machine? Or... All right. We need to get him to the med bay right now. Like right now.
All right, James, Jordan, you guys help him. I'll take point.
You're probably not going to like this suggestion. Heard from Ellis.
No, not since all the nasty.
All right, let's get him to the med bay and we'll have to deal with Ellis in a little bit. Or we can split up.
Well, let's get him.
You guys turn around, you'd already know.
We're going up, so.
Okay.
You guys would already missing. And on his way to the security bay.
So as you guys step out, again, you got the choice of the lift where you've seen Drew come down, or the stairwell. Drew, you would know what's in the stairwell, if that matters. How are you guys going up?
There's some really nasty web-like stuff in the stairwell, so we'll need to clear it if we're going to take the stairs.
How was the lift?
The lift worked fine.
Maybe we should take that then.
I'm concerned if we continually use the lift that it's going to draw too much power. but once or twice more should be okay.
How much?
You cut out there, Dan.
I said how much?
How much what?
How much power did we have left?
Morgan, how much power we got?
When you, actually, your hazmat suit comes through, so you're looking at 22% right now.
We're at 22%.
Is that power or oxygen?
Life support, basically.
That's the power that's running the life support.
It's averaging, or it's showing they have an average of about 21 minutes.
Yeah, we have about 21 minutes left.
Even if we do get to medbay, we're screwed.
It's not going to matter.
I was going to head down to the engine room to see if I could get more power. Why don't you guys go ahead and take him to medbay, and I'll continue my way down.
Sounds good. We'll bring him to medbay, and then I'll head over to security. See if we can try to get some of the weapons that we might need, and see if we can find Ellis on the way.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So as all of you get into the lift, get ready to head out, we will swing over to Ellis. This thing grabs a hold of you. You can feel itself lifting you up into this thick webbing, just continually vomiting this thick mucus across your body, almost hardening instantly into this like glass shell.
I'm just trying as much as I can to just not let it constrain me and just not stop moving.
Out of the corner of your eye every now and then, you can see this other person that's on the other side of that doorway panicking, beating at the door, trying to get it to open stuff. But you can see the walls and everything up here, obviously high security level, everything seems to be soundproof. So what he's saying or what he's doing, you can't quite figure out. But it looks like he's trying to get out to help you or something. Yeah, if you start swinging around trying to break free from the stuff, slashing with your blade, go ahead and give me a drop.
3.
So you can feel part of your blade cut into this thing, but again, then your arm almost seizes up as this stuff hardens into this glass-like shell around your arm. You can't move your legs anymore. And then it feels like it just kind of throws you back. You can feel yourself hanging there as this thing moves back a little bit. A large gas across the top of one of its shoulders that stares back at you as you're hanging there in this webbing. Slowly, more of the stuff seems to harden up around you. A little bit more, a little bit more. And then you see it scurry up into the darkness above you. Then you can
Just
hear the music.
like if I'm so fucking creepy. Yeah, I'm just gonna basically keep struggling, keep fighting, and then if I do manage to get out, then I'll sort of go over to the door.
All right. With that, it's going to be Act 3, so everybody add one more die to your dice pool. We set this for 40 minutes. And everybody cool if we take like a 2-3 minute break?
Yeah, sounds good.
And we'll finish off this last act. All right, I will be right back.
Morgan, this is fucking great, mate. It's like a cross between Stranger Things and The Expanse. Actually, it's a lot like The Expanse.
I don't know what the Expanse is. Is it a show?
It's a series of books that are being made into a Netflix show. It's fucking amazing. It's so good. And literally, it's like these spore things that are consuming people. Although yours is much more creepy, but like it's basically this molecule that is like basically it like creates people out of itself and shit. It's fucking it's a really good show.
Nice. I'll have to check it out. Maybe I've heard of it.
Definitely.
Kind of sounds familiar, but
yeah, like it's a reasonably famous book series sort of thing. So yeah, it's good. But
I haven't read the books, but the show.
So Morgan, I've figured out how to beat your games.
yeah.
Is not to play a character whose name rhymes with Ellis, because we've got Ellis, who's currently becoming a human chrysalis, and we had Kellis, who lost his hand and ended up going to the shit and going insane and what have you. So just need to
and you got Morris, that's sort of oxymoron, who is melting.
Exactly.
I thought you were going to
by the way,
don't do anything dangerous because then you don't have to roll, but I have plans for that. People do that. So.
Yeah.
You don't get away with that.
I was quite tempted to just be like, well, Ellis is going to stay in his comfortable med bay and go back to sleep. Boy, I did a form fillable character sheet for Journey,
Oh, nice.
So I was sick of not having one. It's not that intense or anything, but it's not very pretty, but it's there. And it works, which is pretty much all I needed to do. Yeah. And it's in the font. I put it in the chat or the group chat on Facebook if you want to see it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, let's grab that this evening.
Yeah, pretty pleased with it. That's it. It's like 10 to 4 here.
You have class in a little bit?
Yeah, in the afternoon though. I don't have anything till 1.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't done the work for those classes, so I'll need to get up and do the work. But that's all right. It took me like maybe an hour and a half to do both, so I should get like 6 or 7 hours sleep, so it'll be all right.
Everything otherwise set for tomorrow?
Yeah. I think I need to buy more alcohol because I drank all the alcohol I could find last night. So yeah, I need to go buy some more. I still have the mead though, but yeah, like all the Jaeger's gone, all the tins I had. Fucking hell, I was pretty ridiculous. My throat. I know I said it in the group chat. My throat this morning was fucking dead. Because I used. Not only did we use a post-it note, because we didn't have the resins, but also we used like a bit of an envelope, which was better, but it was still like like almost cardstock. Fucking hell, I was like afterwards.
Dumbass. All right, I think everybody's back. Yeah. All right. Let me set my timer. I don't know if it'll actually go 40 minutes, but we will find out. So everybody should have a drop pool of 3, and Luke, I think yours is 4 now. And now we can start seeing some 1s. All right. And ready to go. All right. So, Ellis, as you dangle there, everything's silent for a few moments, and then you hear that soft music. You seem to be almost stuck in position where you're at. You can move your head a little bit, you can move your eyes around, and you see something up above you move. And if you look up, you can see up in the shadows this creature. It kind of pulls itself into the shadows a little bit, curling its legs underneath it. You see something move beside it. And another little movement, and a couple more. As you watch, you see 1, 4, 7, 9, just a dozen of these smaller, much look like this larger one, but they're smaller size, childlike sized, humany, spidery things crawling across the strands, crawling off the body of this other one, crawling down around the stands, all coming towards you. You can feel one crawl across your back, one across your leg as they start to stick to you. I need you to give me 2 drops, please.
Oh, this is so creepy. That's a 2. And that's a 10.
Okay. So as some of these gather around you, you can feel a sharp pain as one of them bites into your shoulder. You can hear the breaking, cracking sound of this candy coating that you have now. As one of them bites into your shoulder, you can feel a sharp pain in your back of your calf as another one bites into that. Another one grabs a hold of your arm. It braces itself, 2 arms against your body, 4 arms against your body. The other 4 arms grab a hold of your arm, and it gives a hard yank, and you hear the sickening pop as your joint pops loose on your left arm, and it begins to just pull violently, like it's trying to rip your arm off. What do you do?
Just desperately flailing.
All right. Well, give me 1 more drop, and we will see what happens.
1, 3.
Okay. So as you flail a little bit, these sharp pains just rack through your body from this joint where this thing's yanking at your arm. You can hear this sort of rip sound. And you can look up and you can see these strands start to separate a little bit between the weight of you and the weight of these things. And it sounds like it's ripping apart a little bit. And the sharp pain tears through your chest. And you can hear that ripping as your arm pops out of joint, and as your flesh, your skin begins to rip apart. And then it's just this whoosh. As this thing rips your arm apart, you fall free from these webbings around you. 2 more of these things still stuck to you. You can see away from you as your arm dangles above you as you hit the ground hard, falling down these steps. Feel a couple of these things screech out underneath you, crushed underneath your weight, shattering of these glass parts, this candy coating as it breaks apart. Falling down this first row of steps and hit the wall hard. As you kind of try to get your bearings, you feel you step back, and again down the second set of steps to the floor where you started at. And I need 1 more drop from you.
Just a quick question as well is which arm was pulled off?
Oh, let's go with your right arm.
You're such a bastard. Yeah, that's a 1.
That's a 1?
Yeah.
There. Add 1 to your, actually you're critical because it's 3rd thingy, so from here on out, you'll be adding 1d20 every time. And yeah, you hit the ground hard. You can see these bright flashes in your eyes. Beside you, you can hear the sound of the lift. It sounds like somebody's in there at the end of the elevator as it's coming up, and then it's just blackness. Last thing you've seen was a dozen of these small, childlike spider things crawling down the walls, down the stairs towards you. And with that, we will swing over to everybody else as you're all in this lift. I believe, Drew, you were going to head down. Everybody else was headed up.
Correct.
Just as these doors are starting to close and get ready to move, you hear this slamming and the banging echoing through this stairwell chamber beside you.
So much nope.
That has to be Ellis.
Maybe I should go and check.
You guys continue to the med bay. I'll go check on Ellis.
Thank you, Drew.
All right. Don't forget about that power, though.
Yeah, that's next on the list.
So as you step back out, Drew, the other three, you can see these doors kind of close up in front of you. The lights light up. I'm assuming everybody's headed up to the med bay. Then. Right, so you guys hit the button. You can feel the elevator kick into gear and start to go up slowly. You can see the numbers across the top. Click through the 3rd floor, 4th floor as you head towards the med bays. Drew, as you step out, you can hear the clanking, slamming sound echo out of this stairwell. And it sounds like almost like a swarm of locusts back from your home planet when they would chirp in the summertime, and that strange, almost like chirping, insect crawling sort of sound echoing from this hallway, the stairwell.
So much nope. Okay. Just lock and load and keep my eyes open.
Okay. Are you open up the doors?
Yeah.
Swing those open. Again, it's just darkness for the most part, but you can see these thick, yellow, slimy strands hanging around everywhere. Sound echoes from up above you. And as you look up in time to see what looks to be a form, humanoid up there, moving violently around in these strands, and then it just falls. You can hear it hit the ground hard, rolling down these steps, the 1st flight, the 2nd flight. It's 1 flight above you still, but it comes to a stop with soft groaning sound. And then a swarm of these small, childlike, humanoid spider things. Look like small children with 8 arms, triple faces on either side, great bloated bellies, crawling across all these strands towards whatever person fell.
Did you say spider-like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to back up, shut the doors, say I'm going to miss you, bro, and hit the down button on the elevator.
Thanks. So you guys see your elevator stop at the last second and pop open as Drew stares back at you.
What happened?
Shaking his head no.
I can't save him. He's...
Is he unsavable?
Yeah.
Did he die?
Yeah.
He's about to.
All right, we'll go for the power.
Actually about to die? Or is he still alive? You're a security guy.
I am. I'm not a medic.
Way to put that on me, man. Alright. Alright, then prioritize the power. Because I'm going to end up draining it, getting him in the machine.
Morris, can I get a drop from you? You see more chunks of your flesh just kind of slough off. Bits and pieces of the bone starting to pick through.
That's 9.
Right. You're still, conscious and alert and everything. You don't really feel the pain of this, though. It's uncomfortable. You itch like crazy, and it's sort of a burning itch, like a jock's foot to
Poison
feeling.
ivy?
Yeah. Poison oak, yep. But it doesn't hurt, but it clearly looks disgusting. You can see your flesh just beginning to literally just melt and slough off in pieces, and it's this reddish orange sort of color bubbling up, blisters covering your body. Who's going up and who's going down, or what's the plan?
I'll send them up and then wait for the elevator to come back down.
All right. Everybody else is cool with going up then? You see Drew reach over and push the button. The doors close and you start heading up. You go up through the... you guys are down on the 4th floor. So you go up, you see the 3rd. Takes a few seconds. And in between the 3rd and the 2nd, there's this great shaking of this lift, the slam on the top of it. Silence for just a moment. And then you can hear the sound above you, much like a music box, playing softly.
So we're between floors?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Ready my weapon, pointed towards the top of the shuttle lift.
I'm just gonna...
Kind of start circling.
Up above the ever infamous elevator hatch, you can see it shakes a couple times, popping loose, and then it's just ripped apart. You can see it gets lifted up above you, and it's just pitch black. You don't see anything. And then one large set of eyes just kind of glow up in the darkness, staring down at you through this hole in the top of the elevator ceiling.
I'll shoot twice to shoot the eyes out of them, or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Kill it, James.
Give me a drop.
Oh my god.
Six.
Shoot up, and as you pull the trigger, you can see it almost looks like it blinks or something, but it's just pitch black. You can hear the echoing of this gunshot in this little room. You pull the second trigger and fire off your second shot. Everything's calm for just a moment. And then the music begins again, and these two large eyes open up to stare down at you. They look a little bloodshot, but still large, pearly. You can see it looms forward. Just its head comes into view as it peeks its head through this little porthole. And then this thick yellow vomit just pours from its mouth, flooding across the floor, almost instantly turning to this crystallized stuff. I need drops from all of you, Jordan, Morris, and James.
This would be 3 drop dice, yes?
Yes.
7.
Three.
And it'll shoot again.
All right. What was your number, Dan?
4.
All right. Dan, or I'm sorry, I gotta remember names here. James and Morris, both of you get covered from head to toe in this stuff as it scrolls down your body. It almost feels sort of like a relief for you, Morris. The itching seems to subside a little bit. It fills in all these blisters and these pock marks that have been bubbling up on your skin, but you notice you're not able to move your arm. The stuff hardens up like glass, like a thick plastic across your skin. As you go to move your feet, James, they don't move from the floor. And you look down, and it looks like they're literally just melted to the floor of this elevator. None of this really got on you, Jordan. Most of you kind of missed, but it's just pouring from its mouth. And then it pulls itself back into the darkness again.
Okay, I'm gonna get on my comm. Say, Drew? We've encountered a problem. We're stuck between floors, and we're literally stuck. This thing came in and started vomiting this resin-type substance, and these two are stuck to the floor, and I'm pretty sure it's still in the elevator shaft. So, if you could find an emergency pod, an escape pod, because I'm not sure we're gonna make it out of the elevator shaft.
You see this long, 1.5 foot long slug fall from this hatch and hit the floor, slowly crawls across and begins to crawl up your leg, James. Another one flops to the bottom of the elevator. Then a third.
I'm gonna start trying to kill them as fast as I can, if I can move around.
My mouth closed from vomit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just hear me screaming underneath the plexiglass resin.
You see this slug crawling up James's leg. One moves over to Morris, crawling up his leg as well, going up underneath his shorts. The one kind of scurries itself underneath James's pant leg. The one coming near you, Jordan, you're able to quickly just step on and crush it underneath your foot. But almost instantly, a third or a fourth, and then a fifth slug drops in from this up above. You can hear this regurgitating sort of noise each time before a slug drops in. Um, with that, James and Morris, why don't you guys give me one more drop? And then let me know what you guys do. You can move barely. When you move, it like cracks the resin a little bit, but it just hardens up again a moment later.
I would just be flexing my finger. I got a 6. I'd be flexing my finger as much as I could to keep pulling the trigger through the open hatch.
All right.
I got a 10.
All right. So you're able to maybe move your leg enough, Morris, to get this thing to slough off. It hits the ground, but again, just begins to pull its way towards you, and again, wrapping around part of your ankle and trying to pull itself up. Beside you, James just unloads bullet after bullet up above. You can hear this loud screech sort of sound and this thump up above you. The music seems to go silent. The sounds, the regurgitation, the slugs stop. One last one pulls itself over top of this hatch and falls in there. There's still 5 slugs in there, continuing to wrap around part of everybody's legs. One was moving towards you, still Jordan. You see one disappear up Morris's shorts. The other one disappears up James's pant leg. You guys can feel it crawling up your leg, up your thigh.
I'm going to try and, kill the one in front of me and try and prevent the one to the person nearest to me. I guess James.
All right.
Any further up his pant leg.
In that case, give me a drop.
11.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to crush that one in front of you. Even the second one, as it starts to move in, they just splatter the smear across the base of this elevator. You want to go for the one that's on James?
Yes.
That'll be another drop. Actually, I'm going to need one from James first.
There's one.
All right. So you feel this really slimy, sharp pain in your groin. And it's almost like a leech, like the teeth of a leech as it latches on to the inside of your thigh. You get this vision kind of crosses across your eyes, these bright flashing lights. You feel like you're in the middle of a desert or something. In the distance, you see these great, huge pyramids rising up. The sky is this azure sort of bluish color. It's almost the sense of relief washes over you. Jordan, as you look over at James, you see his grin cross his face. His body goes lax for a moment, and he seems like he's just in a state of happiness. This large bulge on the inside of his thigh and his pant leg seems to pulsate a little bit.
I guess I'm going to end up kicking James in the groin.
All right. Both of you, give me a drop then.
18.
14.
All right. So yeah, there's just a sickening splatter on the inside of his pant leg. Is covered in this greenish yellow goop. You can see it rolling down out of his pant leg, staining his breeches. And you feel this sharp kick right in the nuts, James. Everything around you seems to melt away, and you're staring back at Jordan after she just kicked you. Morris, over next to you. I need a drop.
Another 10.
All right. So, yeah, you're able to break free from this resin stuff, lift your foot up. You can see it cracks around your feet a little bit. You're able to kind of get it off of your body stuff. This one is still crawling up your leg. What do you do about it?
I'd like to push the stun end of the stun baton into it.
All right. Jam it into this thing and push that button. Being that you're not too familiar with weapons, the whole idea that this thing is still attached to you and is covered in goop that's sort of liquidy doesn't quite click, but I need another drop from you as you feel this electricity course through it and course through you.
That's a 5.
So you see this large slug just explode apart. But you guys see Morris, electricity racing up his leg. His whole body shakes for a second, and then he's thrown back against the elevator. Baton still smoking, his hair kind of frizzled out, this large black mark and this burn wound, this 3rd-degree burn across the inside of his leg. And with that,
I think with the kick, I would. I don't think I'd be looking at Jordan in the face. I think that I would probably at that point crack the polyresin, going into a front fetal position, and I would roll over and I would watch what happened to Morris. And I think I would just be in too much pain to do anything else, but I would definitely be kind of out of it from the bite and the kick.
I'm so sorry.
as he wallows on the ground in pain, Morris covered in necrotic rashes and this huge burn mark. You don't look too bad, Jordan. You're the best of the bunch. You notice that the elevator seems to be not be moving, though. You can push a few buttons, and it sounds like it grinds a little bit, and it doesn't go anywhere as you're stuck between floors. You're going to have to go up or down or do something.
Okay.
With that, though, Ellis, you hit the ground hard. Everything goes around you black. As you open your eyes, trying to catch your bearings, you're just laying there in darkness. You can feel the sharp pain where your arm was. You have this. You can remember what happened, but it seems like it was so long ago, even though it was just moments ago. Your head's a little bit dizzy, blurry. Pretty sure you have a concussion. You see to the side of you, as you kind of glance over the stairwell, the door opens up briefly. You can see Drew looking in there, looking around, shake his head no, and close the door.
I'm going to try and stand.
Stand up.
Going to head to the door.
The one beside you, which would be the deck 2, or down one where Drew was, which would be deck 3.
Down one.
Yeah, you slowly make yourself down. If you look around, you can see all these things covering the walls, the webbing above you and stuff. They seem to be just watching you in interest at the moment. One's still chewing on your right arm.
I bang on the door. If I get down there.
You can get down there just fine. Drew beside you as you're waiting for the elevator, decide what to do. You can hear the slamming on the door beside you. There's a small glass window pane, so you can see Alice on the other side.
Well, fuck. I guess I'll open the door and pull him through quick and then shut it again.
So you see him open the door and grab a hold of you, pull you through. Slams it shut.
All right. I turn around and look at him. Face.
Probably had that coming.
With your good arm?
Yeah, with my good arm. I'm not just going to wiggle the stump in his face. I'll punch him with my good arm.
Drew, why don't you give me a drop?
I'll fucking drop you.
That's a 13.
Right. So yeah, it stings a little, but you knew you probably had it coming. You can see.
I'll just nod and say, we're even.
You can see Ellis there. His right arm just completely ripped free, just tatters of flesh and meat hanging there.
Gross. I don't have anything to like tourniquet that at all, do I?
I mean, you could rip a piece of your clothing, or the piece of the hazmat suit's already compromised anyway, or Alice's. Alice grabbed all that gauze
ripping
and
something
stuff.
off and then.
You grabbed all the gauze and everything.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah, I'll be getting that. And would I know if the space station has any sort of escape pods or something like that?
Do you say anything?
No. I'm asking if I know that.
Offhand, as far as you know, they've never mentioned it or said any such thing. It doesn't seem out of the way, but
I'll ask. I'll say to Drill, do you know if there's any way off this place?
you can hear this.
Unfortunately, we can't allow anything on this station to leave this station.
You can hear this crackle on your comms. Crosses over. You can see it coming across channel 25, so all of you can hear it. You see this face pop up. All of you recognize it. You know it's a doctor. Doctor, it's an L name, Lawrence or Lauren or something. You feel like it's right on the tip of your tongues. You see his eyes. And he's, yes, Ellis, right. I remember you. And Dr. Drew, I believe is your name. I remember you as well. But there's escape pods down in the cargo. There's 3 of them. If you come and get me, I have the security codes for them. I'm up in the captain's chambers. You see me, Ellis. I was on the other side of the door. I tried to help.
How do we get in?
You have to get the key card off the captain's body.
Do you know where he is?
I'm stuck in here. I don't know. I remember coming here to have a meeting with him. He was coming back from lunch or dinner. I remember waiting for him, and then I woke up.
23 would come over the comm because it's on 25, right?
Yeah.
Be like, he's in the mess hall. At least his clothes are.
Yes, it should be right on his badge. He always carried it around his badge. If you can get his card, you can get through any of these doors. If you can get into the cargo, I have the security code. I can get us onto the pods.
Point of interest. This is over the comms. There's 5 of us.
Well, one of those pods is going to have to be mine then, because I'm the only one that can set them off. You guys can foot amongst yourselves.
Point of interest. As the only ranking security officer, I'm placing the station under quarantine.
Agreed.
I disagree. Because I'm not dying here. And I go to leave.
Yeah.
He has a point.
He says, what? We get in these pods, we leave. We let the ship blow up.
Jordan. Could the decontamination, whatever it is, be wired to work on the whole station?
I'm sorry, I muted you, Bethany, because it was echoing over.
I think the only decontamination that would work on the entire station would be a firebomb at this point. We don't know how this is spreading. I'm pretty sure these things were coworkers. I don't think I can in conscience let us. We just have to get the power back on and see what we can do from here.
If you look over at your screen, Drew, it looks like you have 7 minutes.
All right, I'm going to rush down the stairs. I mean, just full bore pell-mell, heading for the bottom floor.
As soon as you open that door, you can see all these things above you. One large one up in the shadows, just barely can be seen, but all these other ones cover the walls. Probably a good half dozen or 2 dozen or so, just everywhere around you. You run into that stairwell. run down, I'm going to need a drop from you.
I'm going to amend what I'm doing slightly. I'm going to do a
Okay.
little bit of suppressive fire and then run down the stairs.
All right.
So you want 2 drops or?
Nope, just one.
Okay. Looks like my lowest is a 10.
So yeah, as soon as you move into there, set off a few priors, you can see these things back up against the wall, kind of scurry and shielding up around themselves a little bit as you take off down the stairwell. You get down through the first floor, and you can hear that sound of their chirping. It kind of echoes a little bit. Then you hear the sound of music, and this larger one begins to crawl down the wall, gets right in the corner, scurrying much faster than the others, swatting these small ones out of the way, almost like toys. First one just bashing through these things, send them. You can see one splatter across the floor in front of you. And then it leaps forward, coming to a stop as it kind of slams down into the ground in front of you, blocking you from the doorway, in between you and the doorway. This very large, about the size of like a horse, humanoid front ends, there's 3 sort of faces on it. Each arm is a leg. You can see this thick yellow mucus pouring out of its mouth. Then it leaps forward. What do you do?
I unload my gun, center mass.
All right. Give me 2 drops.
All right, the first one, my lowest is... Oh, man, there's a 20 in that. A 12.
All right.
Oh, shit, 5.
You feel this thing just slam into you. Your gun goes off, a few rapid fire bursts. You know you hit this thing. You can hear the sound of the bullets tearing into the flesh. You can feel this liquid pouring across your body. You can see the trail of this greenish yellow blood that it's leaving behind. But it just quickly slams into you, pulling you down, and begins to vomit up the stuff. It covers across your chest, sticking you to the floor. One of these hands reaches out, grabbing a hold of this gun, almost pushing it away out of your reach. And you see this head swivel around, stare back at you. You immediately recognize what was one of your co-workers. A young lady that you knew that was on the team. Who was it?
Who was it?
Was it?
I'm gonna say it was one of the members of the engineering team.
You immediately recognized her for who she was, and these beautiful green eyes that she had, this bluish colored hair, and obviously nothing like what she was before. And it's almost as if she has a slight bit of recognition of you as well, like the slightest bit of hesitation. Do you do anything?
Huh? Yeah, I guess I last ditch effort to try and get myself out of here. If I can get my hands even remotely close to her head, I'm gonna try and snap her neck.
All right, nice. Yeah, give me 2 drops. See if you can snap her.
That's a 15. Oh shit, and a 2.
Yeah, you reach up as you do. You can feel yourself pulling away from the stuff as it starts to brittle up a little bit. As she hesitates, almost giving you this opportunity to do something. And you can see like this sadness and this plead behind her eyes as you reach up and grab a hold of her head. And in that instant, it just snaps over to this bestial thing that it is now. And it thrashes its head back. You can grab a hold of this thing. You have a hold of its head as you try to snap its neck. Its other hands dig into your own flesh. You can see this thing just pours vomit across your body. And then you hear this sickening crack as its neck snaps and its body just falls on top of yours. And then you can hear the screeching and the chattering, the clicking of 24 of these small ones scrambling down the walls towards you.
All right, I'm gonna try and struggle to get up from underneath it. I mean, any way I can.
So yeah, you just begin pushing this thing off. One of these drops down beside you, and another one, they just pour down these walls in front of you to the doorway. Before that, we'll swing over to you three on the elevator. James, you're feeling a little bit better as your nuts reside back into their proper position. Morris, your itching and this burning seems to reside for the moment, but this large third-degree burn on the inside of your thigh isn't looking too good. But you look great, Jordan.
Excellent.
I'm glad one of us is okay.
If you pull yourself up and look around, you can see the dead body of this creature across the top of the elevator. Up above you, about 20 feet, is the hatch for the doorway for the next floor. You have the large steel cables that run up on either side. There's a ladder going up the back side of the elevator shaft. Way far, far up above you, every now and then you can hear like the splittering drop sound, and you can see that something is, this thick yellow liquid is just dripping down from above. Spatters against your boot.
Okay, I'll kick it away, and I'm going to lay down on my stomach and brace myself, try and find a good center of gravity, and lean down into the elevator and start pulling people up. We're going to start with Morris, who's less able-bodied.
Morris, do you take the help?
Yes.
So grab a hold of her hands. Yeah, you're able to lift him up without too much of a problem between him trying to pull himself up and you giving him a hand. Morris, you're able to pull yourself up above. As soon as you get yourself out of the small hatch, you feel this splattering against your shoulder, and this thick yellow liquid just kind of roll down your arm and off your body onto the floor or onto the top of the elevator. And James, as you're able to pick yourself up, are you headed out too?
No, James will look up to Jordan and Morris and say, "Good luck," and he'll go to the emergency release shaft at the bottom of the elevator, and he will release that, and he will jump down the elevator shaft, hopefully hooking onto something as he drops down a couple of floors. James is going for an escape pod.
Nice. So you see the hatch open up underneath you, and you just see James as he falls through the hatch on this floor, this emergency opening. And go ahead and give me, I'm going to say 3 drops for this one, James.
Oh, shit. Very well. Oh, 3? 3. 5.
All right. So you can feel these cables as they lash against your bodies. You slam up against one of the walls, trying to grab a hold of something. As you grab a hold of one of these cables to sort of brace yourself, try to catch yourself, it slices right into your hand almost instantly. And then you notice that you don't have a grip on this. If you look over, your hand is just completely shredded, bits and pieces of bone, and fingers, but just completely torn apart. Reaching like crazy. Eventually, you're able to grab one of these rungs and catch yourself. Your wrist, part of your arm getting lodged between the rung and the wall, and the sickening snap. Your right hand is completely mangled and missing. Your left arm broken as you dangle there in the shaft, catching yourself sort of on this ladder going up the back wall. Below you, maybe about 30 more feet, you can see the base floor below you of where the deck 5, the final deck below you is. But down there, peering back up at you, are 3 sets of these large pearly colored eyes. And you see them all glance up at once and then start crawling up the side of the shaft. What do you do?
All of them are climbing up the sides of the shaft.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna swing into the middle and drop myself down and see if I can handle the 30-foot drop.
Yeah, all right.
I would rather die that way than be screwed up by these guys.
Alrighty. Let's do 2 drops.
I'm up to like 6 dice a drop now here. Hey, there's 4.
Okay.
Oh, that's 8.
Yeah, you hit the ground. You hit the ground hard. You can feel what's left of your one arm just snap apart. This leg, your left leg, kind of buckle under you a little bit. Your knee blows out. But in front of you, these things are crawling up, and you see they just stop, and their eyes kind of swivel around looking at you. In front of you, this hatch, this elevator door to the cargo bay, it's kind of cropped open. It looks like it has been forced open already at some point, so you could fit through far in the back. You hear your comms going off, though. When you look down to see this doctor person, you can't remember their name. He says, somebody needs to get me. I have the code for the pods. I'm not giving up the code unless somebody comes and gets me. With that, we'll swing over to Ellis. You see Drew take off, go down the stairwell. The others in the elevator, you can hear stuff going on.
I think Ellis would try and head up to the pods, or head up to find the doctor.
Back up the stairwell or through the elevator shaft, or if you watch over, you can see all this big arch thing jump down to where Drew is below, and then the other one's just pouring down.
Well, I've only got one arm, so elevator shaft's probably out of the question. So I'll go
on him.
The stairs, I think, because hopefully they've moved out of the stairs sort of towards him.
So yeah, you can see these things pouring along the wall and then just kind of disappear further down the stairwell. As you step into it, it looks like there doesn't really seem to be any stragglers or anything. They're all down below, and you can hear the battling of them going on below them.
I'll go up and I'll ask, I'll speak into the comms and ask how I can get the door opened.
See this guy come back onto it. Says, unless you can break it down, you need to get the captain's key card. I've been banging on it as much as I can't get anywhere.
And I'm assuming it's just definitely not viable to break through these doors.
Not really, no. You need something big to blow it apart or tear it down or something.
Right.
Morris, as you try to think, you recognize the name of this person. Try to think of a number. You're pretty sure it was a higher, early hire. 2, maybe 3. Ellis is 4. You think he's higher ranking than him.
Dr. L, we need to get. We can't. We just can't.
See this exasperated sort of look on his face on the comms. Well, then the screen just goes black. See, takes off the comms. A few seconds later, everything in the ship shuts down. You can see all the warning lights go off. Everything goes pitch black. And then over the intercoms, you hear the countdown. 30, 29, 28, as it begins to count. What do you all do?
What is
Whoever wants
the
to...
countdown?
I'll sort of realize what's happened, sit down and take out sort of my music player, put my headphones on, just play whatever music comes up, and just close my eyes, order and wait for whatever happens to happen.
So we see the scene of Ellis as he takes a seat in this corridor. A few of these spider things begin to kind of lower themselves down behind him as he tries to get his headphones on with one hand, because he's missing an arm. As he's wrapping this up. Let's go to Drew. What do you do as you hear this countdown?
I managed to get out from underneath the.
Yeah,
big
you're able to
door.
throw her off. You can see these things crawling down the wall towards you, but I mean, the doorway's right in front of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get through that door and probably pull out a cigarette and light up. I mean, that's
You hear this countdown as the door clicks shut behind you. These things on the other side don't seem quite intelligent enough to understand the concept of opening the door or whatever, so they just scurry along the inside of the door and look through this window at you as you light up the cigarette. You hear the countdown, 24, 23. Far in the distance, you can see the cargo bay right to your side. You can see James, this loud thump as he slams into the bottom of the elevator shaft to your left as he's pulling himself through this doorway. James, what do you do when you hear this countdown begin? You see Drew step out of the doorway, light up a cigarette.
I would do my best to get up on my feet and look at Drew quickly, but still run for where I knew the escape pods were. Little does the doctor know, but I was sent with codes, so I'd be trying to get on there and hotwire myself into that escape pod.
So as you pull yourself out of this, you hear the thump of first form in that elevator shaft, the second, third, as they drop down behind you. Right beside you, Drew, you see these three little humanoid things, much like you saw in the corridor above, look exactly the same, pretty much these large bulbous eyes. See James pull himself up and start pulling himself down the hallway, gives you this briefest glance. These three little things come out behind him, start chasing him down. Do you do anything?
nope.
You hear the countdown, 22, 21.
Nope. I hold very still. Just
Okay.
kind of smoke my cigarette.
All right, give me 2 drops then, James. Or, I mean, do you try to fight these things off? Do you do anything? Or do you just try to outrun
Running
them?
as fast. Yeah, outrunning.
All right. Yeah, you look at the distance. You know the cargo bay. You know where the pods are, how to activate them. At least you think so. They're like 50, 60 yards in front of you. Behind you, these things are scrambling down the hallway towards you. Go ahead and give me 2 drops.
4. And this one's for 9 dice. That's awesome. That's a 5.
Nice.
I'm getting really
So
lucky.
yeah, you continue to scramble on. You come up to these large doors. Put your hand up there. You can see the pod open up. Further down the hall, Drew, you notice as Jordan gets down, James gets down there. He actually opens one of these bay doors. These 3 little pods in there. As he pulls himself into one, these 3 little humanoid forms jump atop this pod. And you can see they're scrambling around trying to get it open. Unable
Son of
to.
a bitch.
You can hear the countdown. 7, 6.
I'm probably going to grab something blunt, anything laying around, and run down there and try and knock them off the pod.
So yeah, there's pipes and other shit around. So you grab one of those. You see him as he rushes forward, James, as Drew does this large pipe towards your pod. Ellis, we see you listening to your music as the countdown goes. With that, we'll swing over to Jordan and Morris. The 2 of you are at the top of this elevator shaft, hearing this countdown go down. What did the 2 of you do?
Morris would reach out and hold Jordan's hand just for any semblance that he's not dying on his own. And he'd say, I'm sorry for all the bother I caused you for now. I just want you to know I appreciate it.
Of course. Everything's gonna be okay. And she's gonna pull him in really close.
Cut out.
It's because my phone is dying.
Did you catch the break his neck part?
No, all I heard was pull him in close and then it cut out.
Yeah, she said I'm going to pull him in close and then break his neck.
Do you try to struggle or do anything, Morris? I mean, I don't know if you would recognize what she's going to do, or it's totally up to you.
To be honest, I'd probably think that she was pulling me in for a hug, but, you know, that's
I am.
not what's happening.
I am pulling you in for a hug. I'm just giving you an extra hug.
So, yeah, Morris says, you're fine with it then yeah, you'd feel this soft, warm sort of wash over your body. She embraces you in this hug. You feel your body stiffen up. And if you want to make your exiting scene, go for it.
As you hear the cracking of his neck, when it breaks, you'd see his whole body tense up and then release. And you'd see his grip on the stun rod loosen and it fall down the hatch. And you'd see the face that he didn't even know he was making, just contorted in pain or discomfort, just relax.
Nice. And with that, we see him go out. Jordan, do you do anything else as the countdown clicks down? 7, 6.
I'm gonna try and get up that ladder. I mean, I'm gonna go out trying.
All right. You trying to head up or down?
Down.
So you grab a hold of that and start running, pulling yourself down this. As soon as you get past the elevator, you look down, you can see the 3 little forms as they're kind of moving up the hallway. You can see James as he drops and pulls himself out of this doorway. He's down to continuing. Over on the side, Drew, as you rush up, you can hear those final of the countdown. You swat at one of these things, hitting one off. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to separate them from the pod so that they don't.
All right. Yeah, just one drop, though.
Alrighty.
If possible, I would like to use my fate point to reduce the amount of dice he has to roll by 1.
Gotcha.
All right, so that would be an 11.
All right. So yeah, you're able to swat the first one, the second one, and just bash into these things, knocking them off the pod. Inside this pod, James, you're pretty sure you know the codes. Are you gonna? There's 2 more pods right beside you, Drew. Are you gonna get in one or do anything?
No.
Yeah.
I've pretty much resigned myself that I'm contaminated.
So you can see this. So you can see James inside this pod. Do you want to see if you can activate this thing and go, James? You see this console kind of light up before you, waiting for the passcodes. You can feel the chamber, oxidize itself. Get ready.
Yeah, before James does try to activate the pod, he'll feel very confident that he has the codes to activate the pod. He'll send a quick distress message out through a secret code that he has through the cage, basically saying, "This is 326, codename James Tullen, calling 129. Mission success. I'm bringing you a gift." And if Drew were to look into the escape pod, I would have the little dead baby that she carved out of the slime, and then I will activate the console, and I will escape with the escape pod with the codes that I have.
All right. Give me
James,
one.
if Drew sees that, he's wailing on that door with that pipe. Son of a bitch!
Nice. Give me one last drop, James.
Can I take back my fate point?
9, 10, 11. I got a 3.
Nice. So yeah, you just see the steam erupt out around this escape pod, and then the flames jut forth, just washing over top of you, Drew. Give me one last drop as well, Drew. You guys are muted, so I'm not sure what you got.
I got a 12.
All right. So yeah, you're able to back up in time before these flames and everything just washes over top of you. You feel a few burns, your hair is singed a little bit and everything. But as soon as all this clears up, you just see this pod disappearing off into the distance. This new little shield has been kind of erected around. You feel those last couple seconds, 2, this 1. And with that, I need everybody to give me one last drop.
Does that include me?
No, you're dead.
Figured I'd ask.
9. I got a 9.
Okay. All right. So as you see this countdown hits 1 and 0, and well, Morris, since you were the first one to die, what happens when the countdown hits 0? I'll leave the ending up to you.
When the countdown hits 0, the station uses the last bit of emergency power that it has left to initiate a protocol that's codenamed Torch and Burn. Small nozzles that start spraying out gasoline, oil, just an assortment of flammable liquids. And then spark is ignited directly outside of the captain's quarters, igniting the entirety of the surface of the ship.
Ellis, you're the first one to feel the heat as this flame washes down this elevator shaft, washes across your body. Name's Jordan. You'd be further back as you're running down the hall. You reach the bottom just in time to see James showing that he has one of these infant alien things, showing it to Drew as Drew's banging on his pod. And then it just blasts off. You hear this whoosh sort of sound. And then the heat and the flames burst out of the elevator shaft, washing across this deck of the ship, over top of you and over top of Drew. The screen kind of hangs there. It kind of pans out to the distance. You can see this space station. It doesn't blow up or burn apart, but you can just see the flickering of flames all within inside of this thing, this red hot steel, adamantium. And this slowly just begins to fade. And we just see the body of Ellis in flames lying on the ground. All these creatures screeching, these slugs burning up into these tiny little charred husks. Because everything is just completely burned to nothing, just ash. And the credits begin to roll. You see James as you're in the distance in your pod, and you have this. Why don't you narrate the after credits scene, James?
Well, basically, James is holding on to this little dead infant alien creature that's morphed with our DNA. And as this ship heads through the Earth's atmosphere, it's specifically pointed towards a northern region of New Zealand and into the mountains. And as it's coming down, and it's the heat around the shield and the ship is getting hotter, and then he finally bursts into Earth's atmosphere, and the blue sky shines. From behind, a slug drips onto the shoulder of James, and he turns, and a creature just kind of smashes and snaps his neck. Even though the shuttle's on its final destination, James has died, and the still shuttling towards Earth.
Nice. With that, you see that small explosion of water and stuff as this thing smashes in on the outskirts of the ocean. Inside, this little thing moves just slightly. And that's the end. So, stop the timer. Yeah, you stopped with 32 seconds left.
Fantastic.
Nice.
All right, guys.
Fucking awesome.
Thank you guys for playing. Thank you.
You're so